Dave, are they showing Biden the door before he's inaugurated? Can that actually be true? I mean, I personally think they're never going to try to hold him in check. But it's an interesting theory, proposition.
It's an interesting theory for sure, and Dinesh definitely has some interesting theories. I mean, look, Nancy Pelosi was talking about the 25th Amendment weeks before the election, so the idea that they're trying to really usher in Kamala is possible. But on this specifically, I was thinking as you did your intro there, I think for now on, when you play clips of CNN and MSNBC people, can you guys put a laugh track in after they say things? Because these people are absolutely ridiculous. But the part of this that I want to focus on is not the sudden announcements that maybe there's something there. It's the part that you hit on slightly, which is that they ignore the things that go against the narrative. The idea that people didn't know about Hunter's laptop before the election is crazy. You know who knew about it? We all knew about it. Everyone that is right-leaning, for those of us that are creatures of the internet and YouTube and Twitter, we all knew about this, but the more they ignore it, I mean, this is a type of fake news. People think that fake news is simply, the headline doesn't match the story, or it's a complete fabrication. But I would argue that the most nefarious, the most dangerous type of fake news is when something doesn't fit the narrative, so they don't cover it. And I'm finding that the more that the media won't cover something, the more I'm going, oh yeah, there's probably something there.
Well, until, Dinesh, we have major media platforms, social media companies that refuse to post original reporting. And who knows, given what's going on at Facebook and YouTube, who knows whether we're going to be able to get information, at least on those big platforms that Dave was referencing.
We now find that the mainstream media and social media kind of works in tandem. In fact, very often it's mainstream media that tips off social media to go ahead and restrict this guy and ban that guy. So the media has weirdly become an instrument not of free speech, but of the repression of speech. What I find so strange about this is that this is all occurring in a supposedly free market. I mean, in socialist countries, the state controls the media. But here we have thousands of journalists, hundreds of media organizations. So try to think, why wasn't there one enterprising reporter at the Sacramento Bee or Channel 4 in Chicago who said, listen, all my buddies don't want to cover the Biden scandal. I will. I'll become famous by doing it. But even that guy knew that if he did it, his career would be ruined. So think of the regime of conformity that has been, in a sense, implemented across a wide swath of media organizations. It's a very chilling thought when you really think about it.
Dave, the thing that I think everyone just has to keep it in front and center, how did the Bidens get so rich? He's been in public service most of his life. His wife, is employed, but how are they multi-millionaires? What expertise does his son have?
Yeah.
How about his brother?
It's very strange, because I remember a couple of years ago, people were going crazy because Donald Trump Jr. had a 15-minute lunch or coffee with somebody on the Upper East Side, and people said that was proof that Donald Trump was working with the Russians or something like that. And we ran with that, or they ran with that, I should say, for days and weeks. I mean, how did Biden, who's been in public office for 47 years, you make a couple $100,000 a year, and I don't begrudge these guys writing books or whatever else they're doing, but we know, I mean, it's so profoundly obvious that it's almost idiotic that Hunter Biden only had the job at Burisma because of access to his dad. He had no expertise, and he was making major money doing it. So were they kicking some of it up? I mean, I guess we'll find out as more emails drop. But the simple truth is that we're in a reality war right now, because half the country, if they won't listen to right-leaning things, will barely see this, or they'll be confused by it or get misinformation on it. And then half the country will find out the truth. And how do we arbitrage those two positions? It's getting harder and harder because of what you just talked about with big tech, where we're just sort of slaves to the algorithm at this point.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Great to see both of you.